The scream echoed through the mountains as her wheelchair tumbled over the cliff's edge, metal twisting, wheels spinning, vanishing into the fog below. The laughter of the three girls who pushed it still rang in the air, sharp and cruel. But what none of them knew was that the girl they thought they'd broken had already learned to soar, without wings, without pity, without limits. Maya's story began long before that cruel day. She wasn't born in a wheelchair. She used to be the kind of girl who ran everywhere, barefoot through wet grass, up rocky trails, down school hallways. She was a dreamer, a mountain lover, always talking about how she'd fly planes one day. But one night, a car crash changed everything. Her legs stopped working, her dreams shattered, and silence took over her laughter. At 16, Maya was sent to a new school in a quiet town near the cliffs of Grey Hill. Her father, a mechanic, moved them there for work and to give her a fresh start. But fresh starts are cruel when people see your chair before your face. The whispers followed her everywhere, poor thing. So tragic. She used to be normal. Then there were the bullies, three girls who ruled the school's social circle: Amber, the ringleader with the cruel smirk, Cassie, her shadow, and Jenna, who laughed too loudly to hide her guilt. They didn't hit Maya, not at first. They were friendly, pretending to help push her chair, making comments like, "You're so brave," and "Must be hard not to walk, huh?" But behind their fake smiles was mockery, and behind Maya's silence was fire. She never reacted. Never cried. Never gave them what they wanted. She just smiled faintly, rolled to the art room, and painted skies, huge, endless skies full of wings, clouds, and light. Painting was her therapy, her rebellion, her quiet way of saying, "I still dream." What no one knew was that after school, Maya had another life. Her father worked part-time at a small flight school. Every evening, after his shift, he'd take Maya there, lift her into the cockpit, and teach her everything he knew about planes. At first, she just watched him fly. But over time, she learned the instruments, the controls, the feeling of freedom that came with the roar of an engine. She was a natural. Flying became her legs, her escape, her salvation point. One day, during a school field trip, fate brought all the pieces together. The destination, Grey Hill Cliffs, a place of scenic views, dangerous drops, and endless skies. Maya rolled her chair toward the edge, sketchbook in hand, capturing the view that reminded her of flying. That's when Amber and her friends appeared, still pretending to be happy. "Wheelchair girl?" Amber sneered. "Taking pictures of what you can't touch?" Maya ignored her, flipping a page. She'd dealt with worse. But Amber wasn't done. "Bet you wish you could just jump," she said, stepping closer. "Bet it'd feel like flying before you hit the rocks." Cassie laughed nervously. "Come on, Amber, stop." But Amber shoved her hand onto the wheelchair's handle. "What?" "I'm just helping her feel free." Then, with one brutal push, she sent the wheelchair rolling toward the cliff. The world tilted. The wind screamed. The wheels spun faster. Maya's sketchbook flew from her hand, pages scattering like wings, and then, silence. The three girls froze in horror as the chair disappeared. Cassie screamed. Jenna cried. Amber's face went pale. They ran. They told no one. They thought they'd killed her, but 2 hours later, the sound of an engine roared across the sky. The entire school, gathered for the end of the trip, looked up in shock as a small white plane swooped low over the cliffs. In the cockpit was a familiar face, Maya, smiling, alive, flying. The news spread like wildfire. The truth unraveled soon after. Maya's father had been waiting for her at the airstrip below. She'd been scheduled for her first solo flight that very day. Her wheelchair had gone over, but she hadn't been in it. Amber and her friends were expelled. The police got involved. But what mattered most wasn't punishment, it was what came after. Maya became an inspiration. She started speaking at schools, not about revenge or pity, but about resilience. "You don't need legs to stand tall," she said in one interview, "and you don't need wings to fly." Her art gained attention too, each painting now a blend of sky and hope, dedicated to anyone who ever felt trapped by life. She named one of her pieces "Falling Isn't the End." Years later, Maya stood beside her plane at an airshow, the sun setting behind her. Reporters surrounded her, asking how it felt to fly again after everything she'd been through. She smiled softly and looked toward the horizon. "I never stopped flying," she said. "I just had to remember where my wings were." And somewhere, beneath those same cliffs where her wheelchair fell, wildflowers grew between the rocks, bright, unbreakable, and free.